Our coverage of the 2024 Scouting Combine continues here from Indianapolis. Joining us now, the brand new head coach of the Tennessee Titans via the Cincinnati Bengals. He is Brian Callahan. Brian, congratulations on the new job. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Good. Where's your Titans gear?
Oh, I've always been a non-logo guy at the
Oh,
Combine.
he's not logo. Well, he's got a lot of money now, so he's like, I'll buy designer stuff. I don't need this Titan stuff.
This is my grace. I try to stay
incognito,
under the radar.
right? Yeah, that's good. That's the way to do it.
Don't want to walk down the street. All right, so the process, right? You're taking interviews. I know you did a little last year, right? But this year, kind of just take us through what went down, how it all shook out with the Titans here.
Yeah, it was great. I had
happened so fast.
It did.
Right.
I had 4 interviews with a couple of teams on Zoom, that kind of first round.
Yeah.
And then I had three set up, including the Titans, for the following week when we were allowed to interview. But I had an immediate connection with Rand Carthon and Amy. Just everything about the building felt great. Yeah. It was a place that I felt like I wanted to be. And then when I got there in person that Monday, it confirmed all the things that I felt. And so it happened really fast. I wanted them, they wanted me, and it worked out great.
You got a young, talented quarterback, right? Will Levis. I think we were all
we loved him last
severely
year.
impressed, right?
Yes.
I exceeded my expectations coming out in the draft. What do you take from, your Burrow tutelage and everything you went with him and him being a superstar and, apply this to Will Levis now?
I've been fortunate to be around a lot of good quarterbacks, and so to have the ability to take all those experiences and try to help Will. But I think the most important part for Will is that he just is Will.
Yeah.
And I can use a lot of things to help and offer advice and things that other guys have done, but ultimately it's going to be what he's most comfortable with and what he does the best. But man, he's competitive, he's tough, he's talented. I'm excited to work with him.
Yeah, when you watched film of him, what kind of popped to you? Where you're like, oh man,
you see his intensity and his energy.
Right.
I think he really wants to be a great player. He plays really hard. I think you felt that team buy into his demeanor, his style over the course of the second half of the season, and he's got talent on top of it.
Right.
I mean, he's got great feet. He's a great athlete. His release is really quick. He's accurate. He's got things to improve on, but they're all things that are very improvable.
Yeah.
Brian, one of the issues last year with him, though, was he was a little too energetic. He did a little too much. Mike Vrabel had to try to reel it in a little bit. How do you strike that balance? You come from a place where the quarterback's been injured a few times. How do you keep a guy active when it comes to possibly taking off down the field, but also find a way to keep him healthy?
Be smart. I think it's important for quarterbacks. He's a young player, hasn't played a lot yet, but he has to understand that the franchise rides on his shoulders too. And so for everyone to have success, he has to be available and has to be playing. And so there's a time and a place to be smart about where you put your body at risk. When it's 3rd and 10 to win a game and you got to go dive to get a first down or put your shoulder down, then that's probably the place for it. But 1st and 10 in the first quarter, you can probably get down or get out of bounds. Maybe throw it away even.
Yeah. I hear that. Will you go through the process of, teaching Will Levis through Joe Burrow a little bit? Will you hit those cut-ups and you'll use that to kind of tutelage in the new offense?
That'll be the starting point.
Yeah. Right.
And you hope that pretty quickly as you get through OTAs, you're using a lot more of your own film as you get into training camp. But, that's a starting point. Obviously, 5 years of experience there with that offense. And we still got to figure out what we're good at, too. And we're going to look a little different than Cincinnati probably when it's all said and done.
Okay, that's what I wanted to ask you. That was my next question. Wait, thank you for leading me there.
You got it.
Your offensive style, how would you kind of say that out loud to all us and our viewers?
Yeah, I think that ultimately one of the things that Tennessee's been known for over its tenure in Nashville has been a toughness and a physicality that
running the ball
has been part of it, and we'll still do that. Obviously, I have a line coach that likes to be physical around the football.
Yeah, right. Dad's there.
Yeah, but I think in today's game, you have to be able to pass the ball effectively. You have to have a balance between a vertical threat game and being able to have that controlled, patient passing game, which is, I think, one of the things we did really well in Cincinnati. But there's a mix, and I think ultimately when you're talking about good offenses, in this league, the best ones throw the ball really well, and so we're trying to get to that point.
So it'll look Cincinnati-ish, but you're going to have your own spin on it.
We will have our own spin, and we'll have we have different players than we had in Cincinnati, and so we have to find ways to put those guys in a good spot and let them have success.
Right. On that point, I heard something last night, and I decided to file it away because I knew I was going to be talking to you today. Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Is he part of the future for the Tennessee Titans as he prepares to become a free agent?
Yeah, he is a free agent. He's going to probably go through that process. We're still getting through all the free agency plan and process we're going to have. But as I've said before, I'm not against good players. He fits any offense, I think, in the league. He's been a fantastic face of the Titans for a long time now. And so if there's something that we can work out, I certainly am open to that possibility. Obviously, it's a two-way street as well. So.
You want to give him the chance to see what else is out there, though, before you would get into it?
I think he feels that it's probably where he's headed to start. And then, but we'll have those conversations as we move forward. He'll be in the loop, and we'll talk to him as it opens up and gets started.
You brought up your father. I want to ask you about it. I mean, I don't know if everybody knows, but your dad is, in my opinion, him, Steve Scarnecchia are like the best offensive lineman coaches of the last 20 years. When you got the job, were you like, no doubt I want Dad? Or is there thinking like, oh, I don't know, maybe it's not a good look if I bring Dad in on the coaching staff? Like, how do you kind of, juggle that in your brain?
That's an interesting question because he was actually the year before, as I was in the interview process, we had sort of come to the agreement that we wouldn't go down that road. That he loved being in Cleveland. He loved working for Kevin Stefanski. He loved his room there, those linemen there. And so that wasn't on the cards that first time around. And so the way it worked out this time is I think it became much more real in the moment. And as I'm going for the press conference and he's watching me on TV, I think he had a moment where he's like, I think I would like to do this. And we had conversations, but I just had assumed to start that
what he said last year
held up.
Yeah,
and,
right.
And I said, obviously, I'd love to have you if you want to do this, but there's a dynamic there that you have to be mindful of, and we had to talk through all the, possibilities and ups and downs, and because that's the way pro football is.
I'm the boss now, Dad. You can't be telling me things like you're the boss. I'm the boss.
I'll say this: there's nobody bossing him around, which is a good thing. He's as good at his job as anybody in football, but. It's been a dream come true for me to be able to work with my dad. Can
you you must what's the first thing you can't wait to say to your dad? You want to throw some 4-letter words at him at practice, like, "Hey, Dad, what the hell are you doing?"
No, the cool part is we get along really, really well.
Right.
And so our day-to-day process is really fun. I get to go have a cup of coffee with him in the morning, and I'll talk about what I got going on for the day and where we need to go offensively, and we talk about all the nitty-gritty things that line coaches like to talk about.
Right.
But it's been awesome. I've really enjoyed every second of it.
Yeah, good for you, man.
What drew you to the family business to make you want to do what your dad does?
That's a good question. I just never knew any different. When I finished playing, I knew I wanted to be, and I was not a good football player. I was very average, but on a good day, I just knew I wanted to be around football because I've been around it my whole life. And I GA'd at UCLA for 2 years, and at the end of that, I was going to decide if I wanted to continue coaching or go a different direction.
Right.
And I just decided that I got bit by the bug. I loved it. I love the relationships. I love working with players. I love the chess match, the schematics. All those things appealed to me and really enjoyed it. And so I said, I think this is what I'm going to do. And I told my mom, and she was about ready to disown me, but it's worked out.
You're selling yourself short, too. Average quarterbacks don't play at UCLA.
Yeah, right.
They play at Texas, not at UCLA.
I was a walk-on.
See what I got to deal with?
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, geez, this guy over here.
Some did.
He flustered me now. But when you do look at your team, right, and you guys are kind of, I don't want to say rebuild, but you got to retool a little bit. Is there one specific area you look at to go, this has got to improve right here?
I think we just need to keep adding as many good players as we can add, whether it's in free agency or the draft. Try to up the competition at every position and add guys that can help us score points. I mean, obviously, that's been a thing that you have to score points in the NFL,
right.
And there hasn't been enough of those. And so that's my job to do that. And I think I'm really excited about Denard Wilson, our defensive coordinator, and the staff that we put together on defense. I think they're going to do a great job. They got great energy, great personality, but the more good players we can add, the better. I think it's been a competitive team for a long time. I think they lost 7 one-score games last year, so it's not like they're far away from being competitive. We just got to keep adding to it.
Yeah. Last thing, I know you got to go, but I got to ask you this just because I'm a fan. We're all a fan of the guy. I mean, Joe Burrow, what's something that we don't know about Joe that makes him so great or the guy he is?
Oh, I love everything about him.
Yeah. So do I.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But I think the cool thing about Joe is he is everything that you see him as. There's no pretense.
Yeah, right.
He's very genuine. He's very genuine. What he is he's authentic to who he is as a person, and he's like that all the time.
Right.
And then one of the things that he has that I don't think anybody has is he's got this incredible spatial awareness of what's happening on the field. I've never seen anybody like it.
Yeah.
Who just can feel and know and see in the moment exactly.
I call him a
what's
slippery
happening.
son of a bitch all the time.
He
moves.
And he does. And he does.
Yeah, but I love everything about him. Obviously, I'm sitting here largely because of how he's played, and that's not lost on me, and I'm very thankful for my time with him.
And what else he does, too, that impresses us, when it's playoff time, he accesses a higher level. Real quickly, when you get to a playoff game and you get to overtime and you win the coin toss, are you taking the ball or are you kicking it?
Obviously, everything would say right now that you'd kick. But I can't say that would be my answer 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
so.
right. I hear you. No, it's a tough. It's a legitimate question.
Yeah, everything would say odds-wise that it's negligible probably at the end of the day, but it put a spotlight on how you approach that. And we'll all be having those conversations all offseason.
Quarterback
sure.
on the other side, I think, has a big say in that too.
Sure
right?
does.
Oh, it's Mahomes 15. We'll kick it.
Sure does.
Hey, Brian, congratulations again.
Thank
It's great
you
to talk to you. We hope to talk to you again real soon, and we can't wait to see what the Titans do this year.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
We'll be back with more from the Combine right after this.
Appreciate it.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.